living. If this is your first time here, my name is Helen Yan. I am a master KonMari consultant and trained professional organizer. I love making videos on different aspects of the KonMari method philosophy, sharing tips on decluttering and organizing, and how to simplify your life to live more joyfully and intentionally. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will hit that subscribe button and come join in the conversation. I was inspired to make this video today because I recently ordered a Longchamp Pliage bag. It's from their green line and I ordered the large size. I'm using this bag to use for work. For personal life, I like to use small bag, and if you want to see what I carry in that, I will link in video above, and you can see my current bag is an APC Genève bag and I still love it. So as a KonMari consultant, I run my own business and I go to people's homes and I work with them one-on-one on tidying. And to do that, I do bring what I call an organizing kit. And I used to have this rolling cart. Well, I still have it. I have a rolling cart with boxes and lots of different tools and equipment that I bring with me, but it's just not working for me. With the rolling cart, a lot of places have stairs and the cart gets heavy and I can't carry it, or in Canada we get a lot of snow, so I can't really roll it, so it's just not working for me. I've decided to switch over to a tote, and that's why I decided to get the Pliage tote, because I've never had one before and I've heard such great things about it. So it came yesterday and I started putting some things in and everything was just flopping around, and that did not spark joy for me. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna make a bag organizer for this bag. And I know I mentioned that I make bag organizers on this channel before, and I've had quite a few comments of people asking me to share how I do that. So I thought, why not share how I do that now that I'm making one for this new bag, and it's the perfect opportunity. I started making bag organizers about 10 years ago when I got my Mentor Gabrielle bucket bag, and I had to make my own because this is before you could buy them. Now there are lots of options, but I do want to share this tutorial. It's not going to be the greatest tutorial, so I apologize in advance, but if you are a do-it-yourself person like me, or somebody that is comfortable with sewing, then you will probably find this tutorial helpful. If you are a newbie sewer and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then there are lots of options where you can just buy a ready-made one and save yourself a lot of headache and aggravation. Quick disclaimer, I don't know how this bag organizer compares to other organizers you can buy. I mean, I have seen organizers that are like $1,000. I don't know about you, but if I had a couple $100 or even $1,000 to spend, it would not go towards a bag organizer. And so, yeah, I'm not gonna say mine is better. However, mine is customizable because you're making yourself, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. I'm using leftover material I had. So I did try to film sewing yesterday, but I was having a lot of trouble because the fabric, it was pushing my camera and it was just like all over the place. And so I'm gonna only insert clips where I think it might be helpful to you. Yeah, we're just gonna get started and see where this goes. So this is the Pliage green tote bag in the size large. I filled it up with a lot of stuff so far, but you can kind of see how everything goes. So this tote itself doesn't have a lot of compartments. It's one big black hole, and then it has one slip pocket, and that's it. And that's why if you put things in, it just kind of flops around. It doesn't really keep its shape. It is a light material, and that's why you can fold it. So I understand why they have to make it that way. Here is my bag organizer. As I mentioned, it's red because I'm using leftover material I have. So I highly recommend getting a thick felt, and that's what I have. This is quite a sturdy felt, and so go to the fabric store. I believe I got this at Fabric Land in Canada. But first measure out how big you want to make it, and then I would probably get twice the material you need, because I think everyone should probably make two. First one is to try, and then the second one is once you've decided what you've tried is working and what's not working, you can make adjustments and then try to make the second one, because that's what I've always had to do. Or maybe that's just the kind of person I am. I know I'm an organizer, but I'm not much of a planner when it comes to this, and you're gonna see it in my video how I actually sew this thing together. And I do recommend to use a lighter color one, like not black, because a black felt organizer is going to be harder for you to see what's inside. And especially because I'm using it in a black bag. Okay, so creating a pattern. What you want to do is you want to look at the bag, and there's a few measurements you need. So first you want to make sure you have the width of the bag. And so for this specific bag, it was 19 inches. That's what I measured. And then you want to measure how high you want the bag organizer. So when I put my measuring tape, I thought, okay, I think it's about 7 or 8 inches height that I would want. And then you want to measure the depth. And then so this bag is 8 inches. So I just did 8 times 3 and I got 24. So basically you just make a rectangle. Mine was 19 by 24. I just drew a big rectangle. I just used a Sharpie. But I would actually recommend a better way is to draw it on a piece of paper, use that as a pattern and cut it, because what I didn't realize, because I haven't made one so long, after I drew it with a Sharpie and I cut it, you could see it on some of the edges that there's a Sharpie marker. So then the next thing you want to cut is fabric for the pockets. And so I didn't actually have a lot of fabric left, so I had to just use what I had. On this side, I don't know if you can see, let me flip it inside out. Hashtag worst tutorial ever. Now you're gonna see my terrible sewing job. Okay, so on this side, I just cut a rectangle that is smaller than 19 by 8 because 19 was the width. So I think I only had enough material to cut. This is a couple inches smaller, so maybe it was like 11 inches or something like that. 12 inches maybe, and then I did 7 inches tall, which actually if you're making it for yourself, I would say 7 inches as a compartment is too high, because you know, if you think about like your pen or your phone, but I kind of like having the item stick out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so you want to cut a rectangle, and then the other side, I didn't have enough material, so I had to just piece together. And as you can see, they're all different sizes. So don't worry too much about being perfect, because for me, I'm thinking of this more as a trial, and I didn't want to spend like an extra hour measuring everything. As I said, this only took me an hour to do the whole thing. So I did 3 pockets with the rest of the material I have that were 7 inches long, and then the width is just however large I can make out of the material I had. And then I made one tiny like shorter pocket, and this is because of pens. I wanted the pen to be able to stick out and not be like so deep that I have to like dig into the pocket for the pen. So once you are ready to start sewing, which is like after you cut out all the pieces, what you want to do is you want to sew the pockets on first. For pockets, I would recommend for you to only put pockets on one side. When you put it on both sides, it gets tricky. So for example, on this one side, I have these kind of slip through slots, and that's because I knew I wanted to put in plastic bags for my tidying sessions. And for most people, if you're making a bag organizer, I don't think most people would need this. I mean, I guess you could use it for like reusable shopping bags or something. But even for this, I sewed on just the 2 edges, and then these 2 lines, I kind of just eyeballed it, and I did it while I was sewing the other side. So that's kind of how I determined how large the compartment was going to be on the inside pockets, because, you know, as you know, you can't like sew one side and not have it go through on the other side. So really think about it like that. For your first organizer, I would say just do pockets on one side, save yourself the aggravation. I recommend putting pockets on the inside of the organizer, but of course you can put them on the outside if you feel like that makes more sense. I think it makes more sense to put on the inside, because then everything will go towards the center and you won't have like this lumpy texture on the outside once it's in your bag. Once you have the pockets sewn on each side, you want to fold it in half and then sew the 2 sides down. So you want to sew these 2 sides down. And then if you can't sew close to the edge, just trim it close to the edge after you've sewn it. So how you do the corner is I looked at the bottom of the bag and I took this measurement. So I think this was about 12 inches and 12 and a half or something. And then so I just made a mark, and then you fold the fabric. You know, you just fold it. Like if I was making it smaller, I would fold it. And then you just sew it across, and then you cut off the excess. So super easy. Once you're done, you can insert your organizer into the bag just to see if you need to make any more adjustments. I didn't really do a lot of measurements. I didn't do a lot of markings or pinning while I was sewing, but I do feel really comfortable sewing. I studied fashion design in university, and we did a lot of sewing back then, although that's like 20 years ago. But once it's done, you can put it in, and then you can just double check the size, and then you can always sew it a little bit smaller if you need to. And so yeah, so that's everything. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, or rather just some advice on how to make your own bag organizer. Let me know if you end up making an organizer of your own. I would love to know how that went for you. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did get any value out of my video, I hope you will click that thumbs up and give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer it. And thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, choose joy, live well.